This is the story of how I first ever got scammed in business. Honestly, I thought everything was over. I thought that in all reality, I'd have to go back to my 9-to-5 job. And anyways, you may be watching this because God has brought you to this channel to also let you know that even though you're probably at a crossroads between starting your business and becoming an entrepreneur, there still is an opportunity. There still is a way. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And this is your sign to make sure that you keep going. With that being said, let me just go ahead and start this story. Alright guys, so this actually all started back in 2017, and this was shortly after I became a realtor. Now, to be honest with you guys, I was an average C student. I mean, my whole life, I literally just did the bare minimum to try to just pass. I mean, I would show up to class late, I would have other people take notes, and sometimes even do my homework. Now, the luxury was that I was really popular, and I was a class clown, so a lot of people did like me, and most of the time, they actually helped me out. Everybody did want me to succeed. The craziest thing, guys, is that I ended up getting expelled from both high schools that I went to, and it was a really hard time in my life because at that time my great grandmother passed away, and she was a best friend to me, and it was the first time that anybody close to me, you know, was not here in this world, was now obviously in a better place in heaven. And I just didn't know how to cope with, you know, not understanding it. I also had a lot of resentment and regret because of the fact that I feel like I could have been there more. I could have, you know, asked more questions, and the opportunities that I did have to go and see her, I decided to play video games, hang out with my friends, or just simply sleep in. That kind of led me down a really long and hard driven past, you know, hanging around the wrong people, doing things I wasn't supposed to. But thankfully, I was able to go ahead and basically pull through, right? I was able to pull through. And after working multiple jobs, guys, it was crazy because I used to actually do college Tuesdays and Thursdays. I would work as a patient transporter making $9.50 an hour. That was on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I was actually working at the barber shop, cleaning, becoming an apprentice, and basically trying to get my whole barbering career going. So I really was trying to figure things out, living at home with my mom and grandma, two, you know, single moms trying to raise a young man. At that point in time, I was just so frustrated. I was frustrated. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more, and I had a lot more potential. And many of you guys watching this, you may be just like me at that time. You may be right now trying to figure out your spot in this world. You may be trying, you know, to do something more. You know you have the potential. You know you have the capacity, but the devil is bringing you so many distractions, and you've been procrastinating. You've been putting things off, and obviously, you know, right now you could be looking at your circle and saying, I am a little bit better than, you know, the people I hang out, or at least I'm a little further ahead, and that's why you're complacent. But I started to hang around people that pushed me to be better, people that I admired, people that I inspired to be, and I just wanted to make more money and be somebody that when you walk through that door was respected and remembered. So I became a licensed realtor, and I basically did everything that I could to become a licensed realtor. When I say everything, I literally studied every single day, every single night. I had maybe over 500 flashcards. You know, I would print out booklets and buy books and apps, and this was something that I really dedicated at least a month to trying to make sure that I passed my real estate exam. And by the grace of God, I was able to go ahead and pass my exam on the first try. I mean, this was something that I've never ever done before, as far as, you know, being something really good at it. I never put that much attention, but that really showed me that as long as I actually cared about what I was doing, as long as I had a passion about what I was doing, I was actually smart. I actually could do it. It ended up being that I tried to be a realtor, and after a long, hard year, I kind of failed. You know, I was still working at the hospital. I was still cutting hair on the weekends. I wasn't going to college anymore. I did get my associate's degree, but it took me about 6 years to get a 2-year degree. After a long, hard year, I worked with maybe 2 clients. They never ended up buying a property, and I was just back to square one. I was back to square one trying to figure out what was going on. What was I doing wrong? I felt like I asked God, I said, God, I've eliminated all of the vices in my life. I don't play video games anymore. I'm not hanging out with my friends. I'm not trying to go clubbing. I'm trying to be a better person. I'm trying to help my family. Why are you not allowing me to push forward? And I started to ask myself, what is it in my relationship with God that is not allowing me to be aligned 100%? I think the biggest thing is that I was doing it because I wanted to help my mom, my grandma, and I wanted to make a money. I wasn't doing it because I wanted to actually help the particular client or customer. You know, I wanted them to obviously find the house of their dreams, but at the end of the day, the end goal was me making money, me making that commission check. Went back to square one, kept cutting hair, and one day I ran into somebody that put a bug in my ear about wholesaling real estate, and I just became infatuated with it. I ended up basically just studying that, and every single day I would look at YouTube videos, Facebook videos, and I'd try to reach out to people in my local area that I thought was doing it. And I ended up coming across somebody that actually said, hey, yeah, I do that. You know, if you want to get started, you have to pick or choose, right? It was literally just a road. It was an ultimatum. They said, hey, you cannot do retail and you can't do the investment / wholesaling. You have to pick or choose which one you'd like to do. And I said, wow, I mean, obviously retail is what I knew because that's what I learned, you know, when I got my license, even though I've never closed a deal. But I really wanted to start this new endeavor. I wanted to try something new because I didn't want to quit at just real estate. I noticed so many people get the real estate license and they never actually do anything with it. And I paid so many fees and I spent so much time learning and getting my license that I just didn't want to quit real estate in general. So I ended up putting out what's called bandit signs. And bandit signs, I don't know if you guys know, but bandit signs is essentially the signs that you see out on the road that say, we buy houses, or, you know, we buy houses cash. So I ended up actually doing that for him, and he was selling a property. And I ended up basically at nighttime going out there, going to all the bad neighborhoods. I mean, I'm literally coming out of work. I'd go eat, take a nap, and then by around 10, 11, 12 o'clock, midnight, I would actually go out there and put the actual signs out. I would put around 30 to 40 signs every single night around the property that he was trying to sell. The dope thing about it is that about 2 weeks later, he ended up paying me around $1,200. And I was like, oh, wow, this is like, I don't get this, you know, unless I do like a tax return, right, for the year. Like, this is the most money I've ever made in just such a short amount of time. And I started to ask myself, I said, why would he pay me this much, right? He must have made a lot of money. At that point in time, I said, man, listen, whatever you want me to do, whatever it is that you want me to learn, I'm here to do it. Just show me the way and I'm here for it. So I gradually started to learn more and more and more about the real estate wholesaling business. And after that, to kind of fast forward, I ended up getting scammed. After I learned the business, I was actually a little bit afraid of getting the properties under contract. And essentially what I do is that I find ugly houses, I negotiate with the actual homeowner for a good deal, and then I go ahead and sell that contract to another person for more money. So it's literally just middlemaning. So for example, let's just say I get it for $100,000, me and them sign the contract. Let's just say I sell it for $120,000. I would profit $20,000. The person I sold the contract to would buy it for $120,000. And at that point in time, you know, they would go ahead and renovate the property and sell for $200,000, right? So everybody wins. It's a win-win situation for everybody. And I got paid pretty well, obviously, for putting people together. And that's what, you know, this specific person was doing. But anyways, I ventured off on my own, and I ended up, you know, basically meeting somebody that was a cash buyer. You know, he said, any properties, Brandon, that you get, I'll buy them from you as long as they fit my criteria. And we ended up, you know, just building a small relationship. You know, it wasn't a long term. I probably knew him for maybe 3 or 4 months. But anyways, I finally got my first deal, guys, my first deal. And I was so excited. And I don't know why. I wasn't confident in, I guess, the contract. Since I never did it before, I never saw anybody else on paper do it before. I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna have the buyer, right, get it under contract directly. So without me having to sign and then sell it to him, I was just gonna connect them too, and then obviously wait for me to get paid. So the deal was that I would get paid a $10,000 assignment fee. All right, so $10,000 to connect both. And obviously that would happen at the time of closing, which was around 30 days, right? Which is typical. I ended up just connecting the homeowner and my friend, the cash buyer, together. He ended up getting it under contract directly, and the property closed. Now, when the property closed, guys, it was difficult trying to get my money. Unfortunately, I had to wait over 60 days to get $5,000. And then he told me that he would basically pay me in a week or two the other $5,000, that things got caught up and all of that, you know, mess. And then I had to wait another month to receive the other $5,000. Now, mind you guys, at this time, I was still working 2 jobs. I'm living at home, you know, with my mom and grandma. And I'm just asking myself, God, I thought I did the right thing. God, I thought that I try to be as transparent as possible. I try to keep my word that I would sell him the first property that I ever got. Looking back at it, I could have actually made somewhere around $20,000 to $30,000 on that middleman deal because I kind of sold it to him for cheap. But I was still wondering, why am I being scammed? Why is he prolonging me? I thought that I would never get the money. Now, what I would tell you guys is that God always does things in mysterious ways. And there's always a reason why he's going to do things. There's always a reason why he's going to close a door or take somebody out your life. Or sometimes, something may happen where you may feel hurt. You may feel abandoned. You may feel like you've been taken advantage of. But that's just to go ahead and remove that person, because sometimes we get so stubborn with wanting to keep somebody around. We get so stubborn with wanting to keep that relationship or thinking that we need that person to move forward. But God is showing us that we do not. So the crazy thing is that after that, I told myself, listen, you know what? I'm going to make sure that my LLC is in order. I'm going to go ahead and study this contract as much as possible. And I started to talk to attorneys. I started to talk to real estate agents. I started to talk to title companies in regards to this contract. I wanted to know everything about it. What was in it? What was the risk? What did I have to be compliant to? Basically everything, because this contract was just basically something I got from the online realtor association. The crazy thing is that I learned everything about this contract, every single thing about this contract. At that point in time, I told myself, I will never ever let another deal like that escape me, and I will always get it under contract myself, and I will always have the opportunity to go ahead and make sure that I am in the position to make the money that I worked hard for. Since then, guys, I've been able to do over 400 transactions. I've been able to make multiple 7 figures. And if it was for my mood and me not sticking to my plan, I probably would have quit. I probably would have just ended up still working at the hospital, maybe still cutting hair, and maybe I would have just quit real estate, because the first time that I confided in somebody when it comes down to business, basically being taken advantage of. The moral of this whole YouTube video, guys, is to go ahead and let you understand that no matter what happens, the best business partner that you will ever have is God. God is here for you. He's watching everything that you do. He's seeing all the mistakes that you've made. He's seeing all the decisions that you're making, and he sees the pure character of the person that you are. Now I've been in business over 6.5 years, and most of the times businesses fail after the first year, I think over 50%. And then after 2 to 3 years, it goes down, but it's still a pretty high percentage. And one of the biggest things that I can say that has allowed me to be a flourishing and profitable business owner is my face card, is my reputation. And it's my reputation with God, and it's also my reputation with the people I do business with. I always make sure that whatever debt is owed is paid. I always make sure that things are fair. And I always want to make sure that I'm doing things in the capacity of it making sense for all parties. Because you never want to take advantage of somebody because you wouldn't want them to take advantage of you, your mom, your grandma, your siblings, or anybody else. Anyways, with that being said, if you enjoyed the actual story of me getting scammed, go ahead and drop the comment down below and let me know what your story is. Have you ever been taken advantage of? Have you ever thought that something happened, you didn't know why, but later on you did figure out why it happened? Let me know what your thoughts are. And at the end of the day, guys, if you're interested in learning more, where I teach you literally financial literacy, real estate, and business, make sure that you go ahead and thumbs up on this video, smash that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace and love, y'all.